There's something terrifying about a Sigma male's revenge, not because it's loud, but because it's silent. He doesn't plot, he doesn't announce, and he doesn't destroy out of anger. He simply disappears and reinvents himself into everything they said he'd never become. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Because while everyone else is busy talking, he's already rebuilding, calculating, and rising with precision that no one ever saw coming. When a Sigma male decides to get even, he doesn't do it with words. He does it with results. The kind that can't be argued with, ignored, or undone. That's why his revenge is devastating. It arrives dressed as success, peace, and indifference. If you've ever turned your pain into focus, your silence into power, or your solitude into transformation, this video will hit different. Subscribe to UltraWise for more insights into the psychology, mindset, and hidden strength of Sigma males. And in the comments, tell me this: do you believe silence is the most dangerous form of revenge? They disappear instead of defending themselves. When a Sigma male feels betrayed, misunderstood, or disrespected, his instinct isn't to argue, it's to vanish. Not out of fear, but because he knows energy is too valuable to waste on proving a point. He doesn't beg to be seen or try to correct the narrative others build about him. He simply disappears, leaving silence in his place. That silence is what unnerves people the most, because it's not weakness, it's control. The Sigma male has learned that explaining himself to people committed to misunderstanding him is an act of self-betrayal. So instead of fighting to be heard, he removes his presence entirely. And the absence of his energy, his calm, his insight, his quiet influence, creates a void others can't fill. It's in that emptiness that they realize how much of their power came from his patience. Disappearing is not retreat, it's strategy. It's the Sigma's way of shifting the battlefield from words to results. While others are left replaying arguments and gossiping in circles, he's already 2 steps ahead, rebuilding in silence. He doesn't care who's talking, he knows who's working. And in that solitude, he finds what others fear most: peace. When he finally walks away, he doesn't slam the door, he just leaves it open. So those who underestimated him can watch him rise from a distance. His absence teaches more lessons than his presence ever could, because in the end, the Sigma male's greatest revenge isn't destruction, it's evolution. And nothing is more devastating than watching someone you once dismissed become everything you can no longer reach. They let success do the talking. When a Sigma male is wronged, doubted, or underestimated, he doesn't argue back, he starts building. He knows words are cheap and explanations are noise. Instead of wasting energy trying to change someone's perception, he lets his success rewrite the story for him. While others gossip, criticize, or dismiss him, he's quietly transforming that doubt into discipline. Every late night, every quiet grind, every step forward in silence is another sentence written in his revenge story. And by the time the world catches up, it's too late to deny his progress. He doesn't need to announce his goals or prove anyone wrong out loud. He simply grows, financially, mentally, emotionally, and lets time do what words never could: expose the difference between talkers and doers. The Sigma understands that power doesn't need validation, it demands results. His focus isn't on convincing the world that he's right. It's on becoming so undeniably capable that no one's opinion matters. And when he finally succeeds, there's no speech, no celebration, no need for applause. His presence alone says everything. The same people who dismissed him start explaining themselves, and the irony doesn't go unnoticed. Because to the Sigma, success is the most silent form of vengeance. It requires no confrontation, only consistency. He doesn't care about revenge through destruction. He prefers revenge through evolution. Every win becomes a mirror to those who tried to break him. a reminder that their words built the very man they tried to destroy. His silence becomes his statement, his discipline, his dominance. That's why his success doesn't just talk, it echoes. They turn pain into preparation. When life hits a Sigma male, he doesn't sit around asking, "Why me?" He asks, "What now?" Pain, for him, isn't a punishment, it's a blueprint. Every heartbreak, betrayal, or failure becomes raw material for transformation. He studies his own pain the same way a strategist studies an enemy, not to dwell on it, but to understand its patterns, its triggers, its lessons. Where most people break down, the Sigma breaks things apart, analyzing what went wrong and rebuilding with precision. He refuses to let suffering be wasted. If he's going to hurt, then that pain better serve a purpose. Instead of reacting emotionally, he channels that energy into structure, into training harder, working smarter, and thinking deeper. The gym becomes therapy, silence becomes study, and every rejection becomes fuel. He's not fueled by revenge, he's fueled by evolution. That's why his comeback is never emotional, it's strategic. When he returns, it's not to prove a point to anyone else, but to prove mastery over himself. Pain teaches him what peace cannot. It sharpens his awareness, toughens his mindset, and teaches him where to never invest his energy again. He learns that people rarely destroy him, his expectations do. So he stops expecting fairness, kindness, or consistency from the world and starts creating all three within himself. That shift turns him into something rare, a man who no longer fears pain because he knows how to use it. And that's what makes him unstoppable. While others complain, he adapts. While others drown, he learns to swim deeper. Pain becomes his discipline, and discipline becomes his armor. The Sigma male doesn't just survive what broke him, he turns it into preparation for everything that comes next. Because once he's learned how to use pain as fuel, there's no obstacle left that can truly defeat him. They use isolation as a weapon. When a Sigma male disappears, people often mistake it for loneliness or defeat, but in reality, it's strategy. Isolation isn't his weakness, it's his forge. While others seek validation, distraction, or comfort in noise, he seeks clarity in solitude. It's in that quiet space that he regains control over his emotions, his focus, and his next move. He doesn't isolate to escape the world. He isolates to understand it better. During this time, he observes everything. Who checked on him, who vanished, who used his silence to speak against him. But he doesn't react. He records. He processes. And when he returns, he's armed with perspective that no confrontation could ever give him. The Sigma male uses isolation as a mirror, forcing himself to face his own flaws, wounds, and strengths without distortion. It's not comfortable, but that's the point. Growth never is. Every minute spent alone sharpens him. The distractions fade, the emotions settle, and what remains is pure awareness. He studies his past, redefines his priorities, and refines his direction. While others rely on constant noise to feel alive, the Sigma thrives in silence, because that's where the noise of the world can't reach him. And when he finally steps back into the light, he's no longer reactive, no longer guessing, and no longer giving away energy carelessly. He's precise, intentional, and untouchable. People who thought he disappeared for good realized too late that isolation didn't break him, it rebuilt him. His solitude isn't retreat, it's his laboratory. It's where he turns pain into power, chaos into control, and confusion into clarity. That's why his silence is so dangerous. Because while everyone else is busy talking, he's busy transforming. They expose people through silence. A Sigma male doesn't need confrontation to uncover truth, he just needs silence. When he stops explaining, reacting, or defending, people start revealing themselves. The insecure get louder, the fake grow desperate, and the manipulative lose patience. His quietness acts like a mirror that reflects everyone's true nature back at them. That's why his silence makes others so uncomfortable. It removes their ability to control the narrative. When he withdraws his energy, people can no longer hide behind their performance. He watches who reaches out with sincerity and who disappears when they can't use him anymore. Every absence, every awkward pause, every forced smile tells him exactly what he needs to know. He doesn't call it out. He doesn't warn them. He just notes it down mentally and acts accordingly. By the time they realize he's seen through them, it's already too late. The Sigma male understands something most people never do. Silence exposes character faster than words. He knows that people reveal their truth not in what they say, but in how they react when they're no longer being given attention, validation, or benefit. That's when motives surface. That's when loyalty, or the lack of it, becomes visible. His quiet observation dismantles pretenders without effort. He doesn't destroy reputations. He lets people do it themselves. His detachment becomes the test, and most fail it. Because silence doesn't just reveal others, it protects him. It keeps him from engaging in pointless drama or emotional traps designed to drain him. When he's silent, he's not ignoring, he's calculating. He's measuring who adds value and who subtracts it. He's learning where to invest his energy next and who to leave behind permanently. That's why by the time the Sigma speaks again, everything has already changed. Not because he announced it, but because his silence already did the work for him. They detach from emotion to regain control. When a Sigma male detaches emotionally, it isn't because he's numb. It's because he's learned that emotion without control is chaos. He's felt the sting of betrayal, the weight of disappointment, and the exhaustion of caring too much for the wrong people. At some point, he realizes that reacting emotionally only feeds the very situations that drain him. So he steps back. He slows down. He removes the emotional charge from everything. And that's where his real strength begins. Detachment for him isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the moment he stops fighting storms that aren't his to calm. He learns to separate what he feels from what he does. Instead of being consumed by anger or sadness, he studies it. He turns emotion into data, information that teaches him how people move, what patterns repeat, and where his energy truly belongs. This distance gives him control, not only over situations, but over himself. While others act out of impulse, he observes. While others chase validation, he stays composed. That composure is what unsettles people, because they can't figure out how to manipulate someone who feels deeply but refuses to be controlled by it. His emotional detachment becomes a filter, removing chaos and leaving only what aligns with his goals and peace of mind. In detaching, he doesn't lose empathy, he gains perspective. He stops reacting to what people say and starts responding to what they reveal through their actions. That's how he stays calm in situations where others would lose themselves. His heart may still feel deeply, but his mind now leads the way. This shift changes everything. Once a Sigma male masters emotional detachment, he becomes almost untouchable. No one can pull him into drama, no words can destabilize him, and no betrayal can truly destroy him. Because when you control your emotions, you control the game. And that's the kind of quiet power he's built for. They redefine revenge as reinvention. For the Sigma male, revenge isn't about hurting anyone. It's about becoming someone unrecognizable to the people who underestimated him. He understands that trying to destroy others keeps him trapped in the same energy that once broke him. So instead of chasing payback, he channels everything, the pain, the rejection, the betrayal, into progress. His revenge isn't loud or obvious. It's silent, strategic, and deeply personal. He stops thinking about proving anyone wrong and starts focusing on proving himself right. Every insult becomes motivation. Every disappointment becomes discipline. He transforms spite into structure, working harder, thinking sharper, and elevating himself to levels that the people who doubted him could never reach. The Sigma's power lies in how he converts emotional chaos into momentum. He knows that the best revenge isn't making someone feel small. It's outgrowing them completely. That's why he doesn't react when people gossip, doubt, or mock his silence. He lets time handle that, because while they waste energy talking, he's using that same energy to build, evolve, and rise. His transformation happens quietly. No posts, no announcements, no need for validation. Just consistent, relentless improvement behind the scenes. And when he finally steps back into view, success speaks for him in a language everyone understands. This is what makes his kind of revenge so devastating. It's not driven by hate, but by evolution. The people who once underestimated him realized too late that he didn't just survive, he became stronger, wiser, and more focused than ever. By the time they notice, he's already moved so far ahead that they're just a memory in his story. For a Sigma male, reinvention isn't escape, it's dominance. It's taking control of the narrative, not by fighting the old version of himself, but by creating a new one that no longer needs to fight at all. Their comeback is silent, but devastating. When the Sigma male returns, there's no announcement, no warning, and no desire for attention. He doesn't broadcast his progress or seek validation from the same people who once doubted him. Instead, he walks back into the world with a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any words ever could. His energy changes first calmer, sharper, more grounded. And people can feel it before they even see what he's accomplished. That's the thing about the Sigma's comeback. It's never dramatic, but it's always undeniable. The same silence that people mistook for weakness becomes the very thing that amplifies his power. While others were talking, he was rebuilding. While they were doubting, he was refining his craft. His absence wasn't retreat, it was reconstruction, and when he reappears, it's not just as the same man improved, but as someone transformed. The Sigma male doesn't come back to prove a point, he comes back to live in the proof. Those who underestimated him start to realize too late that his silence was never surrender, it was preparation. Every ignored insult, every betrayal, every setback became fuel for his evolution. His focus sharpened, his emotions stabilized, and his standards rose beyond reach. The calm he carries now is intimidating, not because it's loud, but because it's unshakable. People who once had access to him suddenly feel irrelevant. They can't provoke him, guilt him, or read him anymore. And that's when the reality hits. His detachment wasn't revenge, it was growth. His success becomes the mirror that exposes everyone who thought he needed their approval to rise. In the end, the Sigma male's comeback doesn't require applause. The silence surrounding it is the applause. The kind only earned through patience, discipline, and relentless self-mastery. His revenge isn't in confrontation, it's in evolution. And by the time the world catches up, he's already 3 steps ahead, too focused on his next move to look back. When a Sigma male reaches that point of silence, it's not peace, it's power. He's no longer explaining, chasing, or proving anything to anyone. He's simply focused, detached, and untouchable. The same calm they once mistook for weakness becomes the quiet force that rebuilds his entire life. His silence isn't revenge, it's strategy. Because when he finally rises, he doesn't have to announce it. Everyone just feels it. If this message hit you, Tell me in the comments, have you ever gone completely silent and watched people realize who you really were? Subscribe to Ultra Wise, where silence turns into dominance and every lesson turns into power.